So if you're a fan of supersets, then you're going to lose your mind when you find out about giant sets. A giant set is 3 or more exercises performed back to back. So just like supersets, you're going to save yourself, for 1, a boatload of time. 2, you're going to be able to cram a lot of training volume in for various different muscles without making your workout even longer. And 3, you're going to get a sneaky bit of cardio in there. The real benefit that I've found from giant sets is that the smaller muscles that usually get skipped at the end of your workout when you're tired, like your forearms, your calves, your neck, your abs, things like that. A YouTuber called Bald Omni Man, he likes to refer to these exercises as floater exercises. Basically, you can throw all of those exercises in anywhere in your workout to make sure that they never get skipped. So for example, you could do a bench press, and then while you're resting for that bench press, you can go on to do a set of calf raises, and then after that, a set of neck curls. So you can train your body in more of a holistic fashion. Basically, as long as any of the muscles you're training in your giant sets don't interfere with one another, then you can throw any exercise in there. The possibilities are really endless. This is going to save you a boatload of time, and it's going to develop your whole physique and make sure that you have no lagging points or any weak muscles on your body. You see, it's far too common that we'll all say that we'll train things like the calves, the forearms, the abs, even the neck at the end of the workout. But once we get there, when we're tired and we can't be bothered, they easily just get skipped over. We're all guilty of this, myself included. But when you start doing giant sets, this completely resolves the issue. So you're not going to skip any exercises anymore in your routine. Now, just like supersets, you don't want to perform compound lifts back to back with your giant sets. For example, don't do a bench press onto a bent over row, onto a squat, then onto an overhead press or anything crazy like that. Cardio fatigue and form breakdown, they're a recipe for disaster with compound lifts. Your best bet is to either stick with all isolation movements, so you do 3 or 4 or more isolation movements back to back, or you start off with one compound lift and then you move on to the other sets in the giant set with isolation lifts. So for example, you could do a bench press, then move on to the calf raise, then move on to say weighted sit-ups, and then move on to forearm curls, something like that. So the real beauty of giant sets is that any muscles that you want to give some extra attention to, you can really throw them anywhere into your routine. So for example, let's say you want to grow your traps and your forearms quite a lot. That's a muscle you just want to prioritize. Well, Monday and Thursday in this example, that's your upper body days. So you're getting the bulk of the training volume for those 2 muscles on those days. Then Tuesday and Friday, when it's time for your lower body session, you can still throw those muscles in between sets of leg exercises to give them some just more stimulus. So let's say Tuesday you start your workout with heavy barbell squats. While you're resting in between sets of squats, you can throw in a set of upright rows and then a set of, say, cable forearm curls. And then when the 3 to 5 minutes is up, you jump back onto the squats. While you're resting again, you throw in another set of upright rows, forearm curls. You understand what I mean? You can get really creative with this, and any muscle that you really want to grow, you can give that a ton of volume and really punish it multiple times throughout the week. Just remember, your best bet with giant sets is to do it with muscles that have no interference with one another. There are examples of people doing giant sets for the same muscle. So for example, for chest, people do a bench press, moved on to a set of push-ups, and then move on to a set of dumbbell flies. Now, you can do that if you want. I'm not going to say that that's quote-unquote wrong, but in my opinion, that's a bit of a redundant way to grow your chest muscles, just because of the insane amount of fatigue it causes you. By the time you move on to your later sets, that's going to greatly impede your performance. You're not going to be able to get as much tonnage, and your quality of reps is going to be poor just because you're so tired from that first giant set. So if you're asking me, just do giant sets with muscles that don't have interference with one another. So for 1, you're not going to increase the risk of injury, and 2, you're just going to get better quality of reps. You're going to be able to target the muscles a lot better. But if you want a short and intense workout, then you can do giant sets for the same muscle. That's going to get you in and out of the gym in no time. So any lagging muscles on your body that you want to hit with more frequency, more volume, you just want to give them more attention, giant sets are a godsend. So start doing them in your routine. Start off easy. Start off with just 3 exercises back to back. And then if you want, over the weeks, you can add another set for another muscle group. The possibilities are really endless. You can keep going up and up and just do as many exercises back to back as you want. Just remember, stick with mainly isolations. So for one, your cardio doesn't get too affected, and two, your risk of injury is just kept low, okay? Start off with a compound, and then the rest of it, do isolation lifts. So with all that being said, try it out for yourself and see you go from there. Until next time, peace.